flatten it out. You guys can still work in partners, so I want you guys to have 2 people at the slab roller at the same time. That way it'll go a little quicker. Now with our template, we're not going to make something as wide as we did for our base of our coil vessel, because we need something that's more long. Okay? So this is the first one, first roll, and again this is how long it needs to be and how wide it needs to be. So I'm going to go and add a second board. Thick enough, so then I'm going to go ahead and rotate the other way. And with that third board, it should widen a little more. So for those of you who wedge 2 pounds, I want you guys to go ahead and add another pound to that. And you're going to see why in a minute. So Andres, you're going to have to wedge a little bit of clay and roll it back out. Emma, do you have any clay on your shelf?
No, sorry.
It's okay. I didn't do my part of wedging. Alright. So we have our slab of clay. There's a few air pockets, that's okay. You would take a sgraffito tool, poke, and then just kind of smooth it out with your rib. So as long as you don't have too many, you're okay. But this is going to be for my template. Now, if you had 3 pounds, what would happen is you'd have a bigger, longer slab, and that extra would be for your base. So that's why I'm having you guys go ahead and wedge a little bit more, so that way you don't have to roll out as many times. You should be able to roll once and be done. Okay. So again, my clay's not so wet that's gonna stick to the table. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put directly on the table, and then use the flat side of a smooth rib and smooth out both sides. We never want canvas texture on our projects. So we're getting rid of that canvas texture right now by using the rib. If you have any imperfections in your slab, like these air pockets, make sure that this goes on the inside of your mug. And I'll show you how to make sure that happens. You definitely want to make sure you smooth both sides and make sure to really follow along that step-by-step instruction sheet I gave you guys, because we don't want to skip any steps. Alright, so I'm taking my template, and if you have a longer piece, you want to make sure to push the template to one side as much as possible so you have the extra clay. So kind of like when you're making cookies, you don't want to start right in the middle, you want to start to the side, same type of thing. And then what I'm going to do is we always want to draw before we cut. So if we make a mistake while drawing, we can easily fix it, but if we cut, it's a permanent cut. So I'm just taking this Sgraffito tool and using my template to make this rectangle. Notice how light the line is, so it's not, you don't have to press heavy into the clay. And I'm going to take my fettling knife. I always hold the blade nice and close to the tip. And cut straight through. The way you make a nice straight cut with any tool or make a nice straight line, use your whole shoulder, so don't use your wrist to make a straight line because your wrist curves. So what I do do is I always hold the blade and then I use my arm, my elbow, and my shoulder, and that's what creates that nice straight line. So when it comes to these lines, I'm actually gonna get up and follow that line. So this is the kind of tricky part, is we need to make this flat slab into a circle. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this little baby up. And the clay should be stiff enough that it stands on its own. Now I have my imperfections on this side, so I'm actually going to curve the slab into a cylinder so that these imperfections go on the inside. So if your clay is really wet, then make sure to have a wedging board nearby so you can do this on a wedging board. But notice how the clay is perfect consistency where I can bend it, but it still sits up on its own. So over here, you notice there's this crack happening. You want to make sure that as you start to curve, it's just a nice gentle, I'm always picking it up before I bend it. And then as I keep going, this is probably from lack of wedging, not gonna lie. But we can probably fix it by using a tool or actually like putting some slip inside of that and then kind of filling in that little bit. All right, so let's talk about this one over here. All right. When it comes to scratching and slipping, we're gonna do the same as we always do. So I would take my tooth rib and I would scratch these two openings right here, add a lot of slip, and then close that up completely. All right, so always scratching and slipping. This seam, you can try your best to like hide it. Some kids got really good at it, and like I would walk around, I couldn't tell where their seam was at some point. But the trick is that you're actually gonna build the face on the seam. The seam is the weak point, so we wouldn't want to put a handle on the weakest part of our mug. If we put the face on, it's actually making that seam stronger by adding a little bit more clay. Does that make sense? Okay. So you're pretending with me, I scratched and slipped, and then I'll smooth in that seam slightly, just to try to hide it. I've had students use a little extra clay before, and roll it. Into a really, really tiny coil. And then flatten that coil. Scratch and slip. And put that also on the inside on the seam. And then smooth in that seam and smooth in that coil so that it actually completely hides, and again, it'll strengthen that part. So you want to make sure to do that on both sides, smooth everything the best you can. What's nice is we don't have a top and bottom right now, so we can flip to make sure we can kind of reach all angles of the cylinder. And once that's totally done, you're going to have this extra pad of clay, and Andres, you're going to go ahead and roll out a little extra. You want a pad of clay big enough for the diameter of your mug. And what's really nice about this is we'll pick what we want for top and bottoms. Let's say this is going to be my lip. Then what I'm going to do is scratch and slip this bottom part, flip it onto our slab, give it a little bit of a wiggle, and then all you have to do is cut around it. So you don't have to worry about drawing or measuring or creating a base or a base template. You're going to use this for your template to make your base. Does that make sense? Are you visualizing with me? Mm-hmm. Yes? Okay. So once this is done, make sure to put it on your board, and this is going to get wrapped inside your bag. And just like we did with our coil vessels, you want to smooth up all the plastic bag. This would be a little bit more centered. And then stuff all the extra inside. Okay? The most you're gonna get done on day one is this plus your base, and then maybe like smoothing things out. But you can't add anything to that because it's still on that kind of plastic wet side. You want it to stiffen up a little bit more before you can add details. Any questions so far? We're good? Alright, so when it comes to making eyes and mouths, I actually have little worksheets hanging from the Ceramics One board. You guys can grab those and check them out. Just make sure to put them back there at the end of class. The biggest thing is when you're creating facial features, you need to think about your own face and how it's structured before just sticking stuff on. So for instance, our eyeballs are in our eye sockets. So we want to create the eyeball first, and then you can create the eye socket and lid that go around it. So for instance, I have some wedge clay, and I create the roundness of my eye, or maybe this sticks out too far, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this in half, so I still have that roundness to make it look like an eyeball, right? And then I take some more wedge clay, of course scratching and slipping everything, and I start to add that top and bottom lid that we all have on our eyes to create that eyeball. Alright, so once you attach this to your, you would attach the eye first, then the eyelids. Once you attach that to your mug, you would smooth in the top part so it looks like the eyelid is part of the face, and you would leave that seam inside the eye to make it look like an eyelid. Alright? If you wanted to add dimension to the face, so cheekbones, a chin, bone structure, you need to add some clay to it. You can also manipulate your cylinder. So if you wanted to put an eye inside, like to kind of carve out a little bit of the socket, you can actually indent, using your finger and indent the two where the eyes are going to go. And then you can add on the eyeball and the eyelid and things like that. So you can kind of manipulate the cylinder a little bit. Just make sure you're not ruining the overall form. When it comes to like teeth and like your mouth, build the teeth first and then put your lip on top, because technically our teeth are inside our mouth. So you want to make sure to build those teeth, scratch and slip them on, and then put the lip on top of those teeth to make it look like it's part of the mouth. For lips, I also have it up there. Build a top lip and a bottom lip first, just two very simple coils, and then from there you can kind of form the two coils if you want a smiley face, stern face, angry face. You have to kind of observe what the face looks like, what our faces look like when we have emotion. Any questions about what you guys are going to be doing for the face or making the actual mug? So probably next week I'll show you how to do the handle, because you're not going to get to the handle before that time. And I'll show you how to make the two handles, the coil and the slab. Alright? So wedge a little bit more clay, and then you guys can go ahead and sign up for the slab roller, and you guys can check out the mugs and everything.
Should we do our grading first?
Yes, thank you. Do the grading first. Alright? Go ahead and get to work.